everyone to World for Thought. My name is Maya and we're the Ngubergs. Today we're talking about Sri Lanka, which is famous for tea, rubber, king coconuts, regular coconuts, and also a lot of spices. Taya is doing the recap again. So, Taya, your turn now.
Okay. So, we're in Sri Lanka for over 3 weeks. Here's what we did. We landed in Sri Lanka and spent some time with Auntie Zari and Uncle Lal in Colombo and ate so much good food, including mangoes. Yummy. When we met our driver, Kenadi, and he took us around Sri Lanka. We went to... How do you say that?
Sigiriya.
Candy, Nuwara Ella, Marissa, Unawatuna. Ooh, that's fun to say. And Gal. The end. Story time.
Very nice. It's been, like Taya was saying, over 3 weeks. And we're actually still not completely done. I mean, we're still in Sri Lanka for maybe 3 more days.
I'm gonna make brownies.
We're gonna make brownies. We're gonna go and check out some mangroves, that kind of thing. But this is a good time to kind of check in.
We meant to do this a week ago, but with having a driver, you feel obligated to make sure that, I don't know, so I won't feel judged. You'd be like, you just want to stay in your hotel all day? So we went out a lot, and by the time we got back, everybody was tired, and schoolwork had to happen, so everybody was more tired, and then podcast just kept getting
pushed out. But very similar to like when we did this in Morocco. When you have that driver, like you said, it just feels like you're going constantly, right? So it actually right now it feels nice because we're kind of just not doing anything, which is... And we need a much needed break.
But that's not true. We met up with, I won't get into it, but we met up with Auntie and Uncle yesterday and then did a bunch of stuff and did stuff today. So really we only have done nothing for the last hour and a half.
Fair.
Yeah, we did a lot of stuff.
Fair.
Yes,
yesterday.
Yes. So at the beginning of this whole trip, we landed in Colombo. We met up with Zari and Lal. Very amazing people, and they kind of hosted us at their place, which I felt was just well, they hosted it at their place.
Mommy!
Wow.
Mommy fed us, took us to so many fun places. Checked out like a couple temples, went around Colombo, did a little bit driving through the city, and ate a lot of good food. Like string hoppers. We tried so many different curries, coconut sambal, coconut roti, which I like. Don was kind of like medium on. And Lal's fruit guy. We ate so much fruit. Taya found many mangoes and many variation of mangoes.
And also rambutan and starfruit.
But the mangoes tasted like the same.
Yeah,
rambutan was kind of like a different tasting apple.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it was crunchy.
That is random.
And
is it not supposed to be crunchy?
Well, it was a little underripe, but
it was good crunchy.
No, I liked it sour.
And
the
sour.
Starfruit, it tasted like a sour apple.
Yeah.
Yeah, but crunchier.
Crunchier.
Yeah, crunchier. But a little bit soft.
so not crunchier.
Soft but a little bit crunchy.
So do you guys remember anything else that we kind of did in the first couple days when we
and
arrived?
the custard apple that we had today.
Yeah.
I've never had that before.
Yeah, that was very
It was
cool.
an interesting...
It was like...
It was like a mangosteen, but not...
Mm-hmm.
What's a mangosteen?
And lychee at the same time.
Yeah, a bit lychee, yeah.
Lychee is like really mushy.
No, that part's not like that. But did you guys remember anything from the very beginning of this trip?
Weeks ago.
Any highlights?
And this is why we're doing the podcast.
Not really.
Do you remember the first time that we had a king coconut?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
What happened?
I loved the inside. Not that much with the juice though.
Had to force both girls.
And
to
I had
drink
a
the juice.
headache.
That's why I forced you to drink more of it because it's electrolytes.
I know, but it's better than a regular coconut. Regular coconut is so strong.
King coconut, not coconut.
Yeah.
Is
Is
Daddy likes it better.
is like better, way better when it's cold.
Yeah, I
Agreed.
think in general, coconuts for me, anyways, I like them way better when they're colder, in the fridge or something like that. But I really enjoyed the king coconut versus the regular kind of coconuts we've seen. Like the first time I remember trying it, like a fresh coconut, was in Hawaii,
I will never forget your face.
and I was like,
of utter
oh,
like disgust
this
and
is what it's supposed to
disappointment.
taste like. I thought it was gonna be better somehow, but king coconuts apparently they're only for drinking. And then in the inside, there's really only like a small bit of jelly. I guess coconut jelly. You kind of scrape it out and eat that. It was very good. I really enjoyed it. So that was super fun to eat and to experience, because what they do is they cut into it and they drink it all and they give it back to them, and then they cut it in half with that
The machete.
with the machete, and then you scrape out the inside, and yeah, it was great.
With part of the coconut.
Yes, exactly.
So many bug
I don't know if it's actually a
bites.
machete. A big knife.
Big knife.
So many bug bites.
Yeah, there was also a lot of bug bites that happened throughout. That was also the time that we, of course, met our driver, Kenadi. Not to be confused with the president.
Kenadi.
Yeah, ADI. That's right, Kenadi. And so he
What
came
president?
through a company that was actually found by Zari. She had worked with them before, and so she hooked us up with him. Really lovely guy. I mean, there's some things in terms of just like language barrier. Like he can't really speak English, but
But he was very sweet and
Very
very,
sweet,
thoughtful,
yeah.
and always buying the girls snacks.
And he picked Tay up when we were taking a photo.
Maya's jealous. She wanted to be picked up, but she's too tall now.
That's the privilege with being younger, because you get picked up a lot.
I wasn't that much heavier though.
You look heavier.
Wow, Tail.
And I won't forget when he called her. It's always sir to Thomas, madam to me, and baby for Taya. And the first time he called her baby, her face was just like, I'm not a baby. And he like stomp towards him.
And then Maya is now called Maya Baby.
That's
Maya.
right.
He figured, cause he can say cause he can say my name, but he can't say Taya's
Yeah,
name.
Sri Lankan people seem to have trouble with Taya's name. It's always Tia. They have trouble with it.
Or what Kenadi said was Heya.
Yeah.
Heya. Because he was trying to say the T like Heya.
That's true. Anything else surprising to you guys when we first entered Sri Lanka?
The driving was not as crazy as Mommy said it was gonna
I
be.
think I got it mixed up with Papua New Guinea. So
Yeah.
my apologies.
Yeah,
Sri
from all the
Lanka.
stories Dawn was telling us, we were like, oh my goodness, the driving's gonna be
I'm
nuts.
sorry, Sri Lanka. It was Papua New Guinea. I got it mixed up.
How about the heat? What do you guys think?
I don't like the humidity.
It's very much a wet heat, yes.
Yeah. So we have to get the AC whenever we
Gross.
go into a room.
wet blanket.
Yeah.
Hot, wet blanket.
That's right. Yeah, so really like humid around here.
And sometimes Maya, when we're sleeping, she puts the air conditioner so high that I'm shivering in my blankets.
And also the consistent weather.
Yeah.
Poor.
In the morning, it's sunny and beautiful, and about between 11 and 1, it starts the lightning and the thunder, and
It
then
starts going
sprinkle, and then all of a sudden
sprinkle.
downpour. Yeah.
And lightning.
Yeah, we thought we avoided the wet season, but apparently we're right in the middle of it. So.
Tail end.
Yeah, tail end of the wet season. So there is a lot of rain still, but actually it didn't really hinder our trip at all. We planned it pretty well in terms of managing our time.
It's not like we knew what we were planning.
Yeah.
But so a bit of luck there. But just going out and seeing the sights in the morning, getting up early and seeing the sights, and then coming back and doing school in the afternoon. So
yeah, it
that
worked out pretty well.
Yeah.
So we met our driver, Zari, and Lol also helped us a lot with just getting some odds and ends and everything like that, getting us ready,
Buttons.
SIM cards, buttons, those types of things. More on that later. But, we were all set and eternally grateful to them for, all that help that they gave us. And so we set off with Kenadi and started heading to our first kind of adventure in Sri Lanka. Do you guys remember, Taya's recap? Where did we go?
Sit up.
Sigiriya.
Sigiriya, but I forget what we did.
And
You
we
forgot
hiked.
what we did in
And we
Sigiriya?
hiked the Pitarangala.
That is a very good pronunciation of it.
Pitarangala.
Pitarangala. I think
Pitar.
I found in particular just pronouncing any of the names really difficult, but we're gonna try our best. So if any Sri Lankans are listening, they can correct us. But yeah, so we hiked Pitarangala, which is,
Or just cringe.
or just cringe when they hear it, is a rock or outcropping in Sigiriya. And why we hiked this one in particular is because there are really two options to hike in Sigiriya. One is the main attraction, which is Sigiriya Rock.
Basically, because we're cheap.
Yeah. The second one is Pitarangala, which is a way cheaper option. I think it was like 300 rupee, like Sri Lankan rupees or something.
It was
versus
more than
like,
10 times cheaper.
Yeah, it was like 10 times cheaper. But the cool thing is when you hike this one, it's actually quite a lot more, I would say, interesting in terms of the hiking terrain.
There was a stinky rope.
There's
Oh
rope.
yeah.
There's
I touched the rope, and when I climbed up, I smelled my hand. It stunk.
It was so stinky.
It was so stinky. It was sweat.
I didn't use the rope, so I'm glad I didn't.
But then you used it on the way back. So
I didn't smell my hand, so I did not notice it at all. But the
Well,
cool-
after Taya said it was stinky out, I wanted to see how it smelled, and it smelled bad.
right.
It smelled horrible.
Excellent. So challenge of stinky rope. That's
Blech.
accurate. And then there was also some scrambling and like just balancing on rocks and stuff like that. So
And the view.
the
Oh
view
my
is
goodness.
amazing at the end when you get to the top. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was just lush greenery, and then you got the view of the more beautiful Sigiriya Rock.
Yeah. So you get to see the Sigiriya Rock in the distance, and so it was really worth it just climbing it, because I think a lot of people don't go to that one. They go to Sigiriya Rock, which is more of a stairmaster from what I understand.
And from what you could see, it looked like
Yeah,
the gross
so
grind,
much
but on
stairs.
steroids.
yeah, exactly.
And also so many stray dogs.
There's a lot of
And
stray
less
dogs.
cats, but a little bit of cats.
Yeah, we did notice a lot of stray dogs around. Not just on the hike, but also just in general in Sri Lanka.
Oh yeah, one time a dog tried to sleep on my lap
Yeah, it was
with its head.
yeah, I was
That's
trying
right.
to go on my lap.
And then I didn't notice actually when we were hiking this hike up Pitarangala Rock. I didn't notice the giant stone Buddha.
Inclining Buddha.
Yeah, inclining
That's what
Buddha.
they call it.
And I just completely walked by it.
Yeah, I can't believe you didn't notice that.
And then on the way back, I was like, oh, I didn't realize there was a giant Buddha here. But
And
it was
your
very
voice,
cool.
your voice was like, "Who put that there?" It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
it's like tons and tons. Of
and
rock.
also, I think it was originally a temple.
Yes, yeah, that's right. So there's a temple at the bottom. You go through it. You just remove your shoes and that kind of stuff, and then you put them back on, and then you continue hiking up to the top as part of the pilgrimage, I guess. And then you hike back down. Yeah, it was great. So I really enjoyed that part. And then we went back down and immediately got king coconut, I believe. And then
Yep.
I think we're like, we need some king coconut. And Kenadi did a great job. What did you remember? You guys remember what he did? He went and checked how much the king coconut was.
that was that one, yeah.
And the person quoted him 2,000.
Which is exorbitant.
Yeah,
like that's just not.
That's insane.
For just like one king coconut.
And he came back to the car. And he came and he sat down. He's like 100. He was very proud of himself.
Yeah.
Actually, everywhere we went, he like negotiated, especially for the tourist restaurants.
Yeah.
When he wasn't sure where else to take us because there wasn't much else around, he definitely negotiated prices down for us everywhere, which was lovely.
Yeah, exactly. So that was really cool. And then, that night we tried some food. We went to this random, not really hole in the wall. It was just kind of a hut, more like a hut in the middle of the forest.
AKA hole in the wall.
AKA hole in the wall.
Kennedy's face when every time we were like, no, keep going down that dark road.
Yeah, that's right.
That's too narrow for your car.
Yeah.
Keep going.
That's right.
Was that the one he liked?
He liked it at the end, yeah.
But he licked his hand.
Not Kennedy, sorry, to clarify. The chef
He licked his hand.
would like put sauce on his hand and then like full on lick his hand and then not wash it and
Blech.
touch food, which was a bit of a turnoff for me, I'm not gonna lie.
I was fine with it. I enjoyed the meal.
Did you like the food though?
I liked it. I think that was the first time I had kottu.
But it wasn't the best.
It wasn't the best kottu, but it was a good
like
introduction.
dry.
It was a good introduction to kottu because I hadn't had it since then, and we didn't get to try it when we were in Colombo. So when we got to try it here, I was like, oh, okay, so this is what kottu is.
Oh yeah, and also there's a thing called soya meat.
Yeah, there's a lot of soy meat.
And my description of it is like a flavored, squishy sponge.
That's
hard squishy sponge.
No, it's
No,
like
it's like
squishy.
squishy.
It was
Because
tough.
because it sucks up sauce,
Yeah.
so it's squishy.
Basically,
I did not enjoy it.
Basically,
And then
delicious.
and then when I think and then when I remember it, I'm like, this is okay.
Yeah, so that's where we tried kottu, and there's a couple curries and stuff like that. And I think throughout our time in Sigiriya, we went to multiple restaurants, and I think we found some really good ones, especially near the end of that portion.
And the one with non-dairy potato leek soup, that was so
Yeah,
good.
so good. So much good food. One of the days we went to check out the ancient city of Polonnaruwa.
Polonnaruwa.
Yeah, I think that's how you say it. And why? Do you guys remember what we did there?
We biked around.
Yeah. So that was
It
super
was
fun.
hot.
It was very hot.
But it was cooler on the bikes because you got
Yeah.
the breeze. It was quite
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, I think it was a nice
But-
little break,
but
right? So
The problem was nobody noticed, and I didn't even notice, that my bike back tire was
Completely.
flat.
yeah.
And you're like,
completely
It's
flat.
so hard.
That's right.
And I was like, why is this
Why
so
is so hard? Why can't I bike normally? And so we actually ended up parking
By
the bike
chance.
by chance right near the owner of the bike rental place, and he went by and he's like, "Oh, do you want me to change this for you?"
He was like,
And we thought it was this random guy,
Yeah.
but then I could tell he was really well dressed, and I'm like, this is kind of odd, like, because everybody around is like a peddler or homeless, and so I was like, he stood out,
Yeah.
And
and
he-
he's
and
like,
then
I
he-
own the shop, and looking at how he was dressed, I'm like, I have no doubt.
you were like, and then you were like, who are you? And he was like, I own shop.
Did I say who
Yeah,
are you?
yeah.
I forgot I did that.
Yeah, but he was super kind and
He
brought
was.
us a new bike while we were kind of looking at some of the ancient ruins around there. And so by the time we finished the ruins we were checking out, we actually came back and there was a new bike there. And
Yeah.
it was
But
awesome.
it was so much easier.
So much
But
easier.
I wish I had my own bike because it was a set gear, so.
It was a second one gear, but
But
really we weren't doing
we weren't
anything
doing any
rigorous.
hills.
Yeah.
We didn't need
I know,
gears.
but I just like to do
I
it.
just
You like to-
I like my bike that has gears because
Yeah.
it's way harder
Right.
if you have hills when you just do one
Yeah.
gear.
That is true.
It's way much easier with me.
I like how these kids from Richmond are like, I need gears,
I need
when Richmond's
gears.
so flat.
So flat, right?
We do hills. And
You do like-
Remember when that one time we were biking so much, but now I don't think I can do it? Remember that giant hill at Alice Lake? I biked up all of it without taking brakes.
Oh, that's so true.
And
That's the only giant hill that I went on.
And we rode down it so fast.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. So, did you guys remember any kind of interesting points from the ancient city at all?
Ancient city. Right. Remember when we were searching up that Pandava thing?
No, remind me.
The 5 Pandavas.
We saw a crab.
In
A frog. We saw a frog.
I pointed it out.
Yeah. And Maya pointed out a lizard.
Yeah, giant lizard. But it wasn't.
It was huge.
But it wasn't.
It was about your arm length.
Let her speak, child.
And for, the 5 Pandava brothers from Indian mythology. Remember when I was searching up?
Yes.
I didn't know that was a real mythology. And
Yeah,
I
it's super cool. You just made some connections with some of the books you read.
Yeah, because the book that I read
Mhm.
was because like with some of the names are like, I was like, it kind of like the. Taya, stop smelling your feet. The names are like kind of similar, like long names that were kind of similar to like the ones in the chapter book. I was like, I wonder if it's similar to like one of the those people in there.
Yeah.
And it was, except the book it says there's like 5 Pandava sisters, but that isn't true. It's only the 5 Pandava fathers. So the author made up the sister. The sister one. Yeah.
Yeah. And we'll put a link in the description of the book that you're referencing. Because
Yeah,
it's super cool,
Arusha,
right?
and the End of Time.
Yeah, it sounds really cool. I kind of want to check it out, actually. And so there was that. I really was impressed with the different ruins that were there because there's so much detail in them, and even some of the scale of some of them, like the giant Buddha, which was missing the head, but it was really giant.
Almost all of them were missing their heads or their arms.
Yeah, that was very strange.
And also, always the right hand.
The right hand.
Would always have like this red,
Daddy.
roundy spiral thing
Yeah.
on its hand, and then the left one would be it would go like this.
Like that.
What was the left one like?
Mm-hmm.
The left one was like
It was like an okay symbol.
Okay.
Okay.
it was like wait.
Yeah, I think you're too close.
Your what is this one called? What is this finger called?
Your
Pointer?
finger.
Pointer finger and thumb were like
Touching.
touching, and then the other finger was just spread out.
Yeah, that's right. So there were different hand placements for different types of meaning, right? And so we looked that up, which was quite interesting to kind of learn about the different gestures. But now I think we've all forgotten what they are. So
I didn't
we'll have
search
to.
them.
I definitely looked them up. It's quite interesting.
Like the Nirvana, or just before reaching Nirvana, and the
Yeah, protection, that kind of stuff, right? So
What Nirvana?
I'll put a link in the thing. So.
Maya
But-
can read it.
Yeah, Maya can read it.
Hey.
And so there was that. There was the giant. It was called a burial stupa, which was massive. Like we were biking beside it, and it looked giant in the distance. And as we got even closer, it was just huge. And it's just like this massive dome that they had built. So a very similar feeling to like when we saw the pyramids, where it's just this giant construction piece. And so I was just amazed at how big this thing is
Do you
because
think
it's a
it was
dome,
as
right?
big as the pyramid?
I don't know. Definitely not as big as the pyramids. I would say
Close, though.
close though, but it was very well constructed and
It was white.
it was completely white. So that was really impressive just to see.
It looked like a dome with
Little dome
what
on
do you
top.
call that? Yeah, a dome with a little dome and then a
Spike.
stick coming out of the top.
spike
But
stick.
there's a turret. It's like a turret.
How would you make a ladder that tall?
I don't know.
You would use scaffolding.
What's that? Oh, I
Like
know.
in Minecraft.
All right, right.
Yeah, and these stupas usually held either ornamental religious items, or it was also used as like a burial ground as well, for important figureheads and stuff like that. So, yeah, it was very cool to see. And just cycling around, I think, was also a nice
was just
little,
nice, yeah.
little break from the car and just from the hiking and all that stuff that we've been doing. The girls kind of missed kind of the biking, so I think that was a nice little treat.
And
We've only been able to go like once a month.
Yeah.
and at the end, we were drinking king coconut
Yeah, that's right. Again.
again,
And I negotiated. I was quite happy.
And then Kenadi bought us cupcakes and
Fanta. Daddy got the okay one, the grape one.
and we got the orange.
And
See,
then-
of all the things they remember, they don't really remember anything about history or importance, but they can tell you on which day they had a cupcake.
Or Fanta.
Or good
And
food
what
at
kind
a
of Fanta?
restaurant.
And what
Or
kind of
good
Fanta?
food at a
And
That's
restaurant.
then we biked back, and then I'm glad we had Kennedy because we didn't know that we couldn't go bike back.
Yeah, well, I was actually surprised because we would have probably biked another half an hour, or
Easy.
something like that, just to explore around, or just
You were
for the
not
fun
allowed.
of it. We weren't allowed. We kind of had to drop off our bikes basically at the end of the route. And luckily, Kennedy was there because he was able to take us to a couple other sites in the area.
Which he got me in trouble in.
How did he get you in trouble?
Well, I wasn't going to go in because I was kind of templed out at that point. Because you have to cover your knees and your shoulders, and I was wearing shorts.
And also a whole bunch
And
of
I left.
Buddhas. Oh, so-
And I left my pants that I was using to cover up in the car. And he's like, no, come, madam, come. And I was like, and then of course I got found out, and so I got in trouble. And then everywhere posted said, don't take pictures in this one temple. And he was like, madam, phone. I'm like, no, I'm already in trouble. He's like, shh. And so Kennedy is not a small man. He's like my height. He's a big guy, and he's like hiding in corners of this temple, taking pictures of us. And I'm trying not to laugh to attract the attention of the person. Anyways, and I look at the pictures, and it's all like these dim pictures and us trying to not be found out. It's
Looks
quite
super
funny.
discreet.
like this.
But I'm pretty sure he talked to the guy anyways and like made a deal, because the guy wasn't surprised at all. So that just happened. But yeah, so we
And
did
it's
that.
A sacred
It's a sacred temple. That's right. And
Maybe
so
to get more money.
maybe. And so we went and did that, and I think that was kind of the main couple things we did in Sigiriya, because the next day we left for Kandy and did a not too long of a drive. I think it was about 2-hour
Spice
drive.
Garden.
Yes, and we stopped by the Spice Garden.
That was a lovely man.
That
It
was
was
one of
super
my
cool.
favorite tours in Sri Lanka.
Yeah, that was really cool. Why did you like it, Maya?
Because he taught us about all the different spices, and also he gave us a cinnamon stick.
That's right. He actually
And
showed
cardamom
us.
pod.
And cardamom pod. And
But then I dropped it on the floor, so I can't use it.
But he showed us even how they get or extract the bark from the cinnamon branch.
I have a fun fact.
Oh, what's the fun fact?
Did you know that black pepper and white pepper are the same thing, except they only take the skin off of the black pepper and then call it white pepper.
And also dry a different way.
Very cool.
And also there are 2 varieties of ginger, and one is Sri Lankan ginger and one is Chinese ginger, and Chinese ginger is the one that is stronger.
No,
Same-
Sri Lankan's one is stronger.
Oh,
It's
really?
the smaller one.
Smaller one.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought it was...
Yeah.
No, another plant where it was the Sri Lankan version. He was like, Sri Lankan's stronger. He was quite proud of that. That's why I remember.
Yeah. And we got to see a couple coffee plants. bay leaves, all these different spices.
The curry leaves smelled
curry
so good.
leaves, yeah.
The pimento tree.
Yeah.
Pimento.
Yeah, he really, like, you could tell he really
Very
enjoyed
passionate, yeah.
like his job. Very passionate about it. And he took us through the whole garden.
And he also got Daddy's phone number because
He wanted to go to Canada.
That's right.
Yeah.
Actually, a lot of people that we talked to told us they were in the
Thinking.
process of or about to start their immigration process to Canada, which surprised me a little bit about how many people were telling us, but then not really when you think about the economic crisis that Sri Lanka's just been through and still kind of reeling from. So
yeah, it is a reality in this area for sure. And so we went and did the spice garden. The man was lovely, and we continued on our journey to Kandy, and we arrived at a very comfy hotel. I would say really lovely people. Very accommodating.
Which one
yes.
was that?
The one where Taya drank like 3 things. Every hotel, even if it's lower end, like doesn't matter where you go, they always give you a welcome drink every single time. And so this one had very nice orange juice that we were only supposed to get 1 cup each, but I think Taya had 3.
Yeah,
I had 2.
And part of mine.
And I didn't get a second one.
The privilege of the youngest.
Yeah. Privilege of baby.
Baby. My baby.
My baby and baby. So we stayed there. We were only going to spend a couple nights in Kandy, so we had a somewhat limited time in terms of that. So we went and checked out this really interesting cafeteria that was
fun.
connected to a mall. And so we, unbeknownst to us, wandered into the mall because we really weren't intending to go to a mall. We were trying to find our way to this thing. But it was an outdoor cafeteria that was run purely by like a strip cafeteria run purely by women. From what I've read, it's actually a project that's been running throughout Sri Lanka, and it's to kind of empower women to make their own money and that kind of thing. And it was super cool. All the people there were really friendly, really great cooks, and all the food was amazing. I think it's called Hela Bujunhala. Something like that. But what you do is you go up, and each stall in this kind of open cafeteria allows you to order what their specialty is. So either curry rice, fried products, papadums. They have fried potato things.
That apparently is better than a Japanese croquette.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
I like it better.
It was better.
It tastes like curry.
Yes, exactly.
Because the Japanese one doesn't. I don't know.
Yeah, they had even hoppers
Maybe
there.
I like it now.
Yeah, juices. Yeah, it was really cool and very affordable. Like definitely local prices.
Cheaper than local prices.
Yeah, it seemed like it's cheaper than local prices. Really good value.
And I accidentally let a bird eat our food.
Yes, I said, Maya, watch our food. And
I didn't know.
she didn't understand the natural consequences of leaving the food and having wild animals attack our food, so we had to buy some more food. But it was not a big deal. But I know this is later on in our trip, but it ties to this. We went to another one, very similar. I think it was the same branding even.
It's the same.
And we got a meal that was enough for both of us for 180 rupees, which is... How much is that? Shh, you guys. $1, roughly. Less than. 75 cents.
75 cents.
And
Thomas
we
and
got
I ate
more.
for 75 cents.
And we got more.
We got more.
And yeah, Kenadi always getting a deal for us. He's like, kept going up and being like, there's not enough curry to match the rice. And so I got Thomas to go up and give her more money afterwards because we had way more food than especially for 75 cents.
So much food.
Yeah, so that was a really good experience just eating there. And we also went and checked out on another day that we were in Kandy, this 3 temple loop. And so we only made it really to 2 temples. One, because the kids were getting cranky, and two,
Hey!
the
second one was cool though.
second one was cool. I thought the first one was really cool too. But the other reason was because it started raining profusely, so we're like, okay, well, let's call it a day and find some food. But I really liked
Was
the
that
first
the one
two.
where the store person was laughing?
Yes, they're laughing at us. So the temples themselves are on a path that's kind of connected. You can actually hike all three of them. It's like 7 kilometers or something like that. But we drove because we had a driver.
I wanted to walk. I got outvoted.
You got outvoted. And so the first one was really interesting because the curator or the manager there, he was also an illustrator and artist. And so he had drawn
His drawings were so pretty.
so many intricate drawings of the different,
I would have bought one.
yeah, the different monuments there, the symbolism. Like he drew like so many different cool pictures. I think we would have bought some for sure if we
Yeah.
weren't trying to pack light. But yeah, that was really cool, kind of learning all those things about him, and also about the actual site itself. He provided a lot of like historical kind of knowledge around
In
it.
retrospect, I kind of regret not that
buying something,
I
right?
didn't
Yeah.
really like his drawings. I know you guys did, but
It was
you could
okay.
tell he was talented. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, but I feel like it would have been a nice confidence boost for him. So
Right. Yeah, that was actually the first time I found out about the moonstone, like what it represented in terms of the different levels that you kind of
I was
cross.
outside and then I realized he was talking about history stuff, so then I went back inside. So I missed some stuff.
You missed some stuff. And then there was also this really cool mythological creature that I don't know what the name is anymore. I have to look it out or try to find out, but it had 7
animals.
different animals, the animal parts that made up this animal. So if
I
anybody knows what it is,
I spent a half an hour on Google, and
No
I
idea what it
remember
is.
one. I remember one. It was the lion,
yes,
elephant,
Yeah.
and that's it. I can't
peacock
remember.
too, right?
wasn't there like an alligator or something?
Alligator.
I have no idea.
Okay.
Anyways, there was a lot. There was also
Pig.
There was also an elephant / what lion thing. I don't know.
That did for
And also Peacock Man and
Peacock
Flower
Man,
Woman.
Flower Woman. Yeah. So not technical terms, but these are the
But
kind
there
of
was a
symbols
Sri
that
Lankan name for all of those.
Yes, exactly. And so that was really cool to just learn about that and just be able to spot them and see them in the different ruins. And so that
Where
was
is
cool.
that one where like there's like that secret passage?
That was the second temple.
Yeah, and then the second
Oh.
temple we went to, we got there and we had to go up like a little mini hill.
Can I?
Yep.
And we went in, and this guy like led us to this like painting, and he just like pushed it, and then there was like a room there.
So what Tata's talking about is there's a huge,
Painting a Buddha or some god.
but it was on a thick canvas, and so it looked like it was hanging up against a wall, but it wasn't. He moved it, and there's like a passageway behind it, and
Like-
that happened several times, and so it felt very much like you're going the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe-esque.
Yeah, and also he reminded me, because his voice was very raspy, he reminded me of one of those fiery guys that leads you through those secret doors and stuff. That's what I thought of when I was looking at it.
In Avatar.
No, like a ghost. Like
A ghost?
pirate.
A ghost pirate.
Yeah, like
Remind
leading you
you of
through
a ghost
secret
pirate,
rooms.
right.
Yeah,
I
like
thought
haunting
it
stuff.
reminded me of like Avatar, where like the secret room where like pressing.
Yeah, you press it and it opens up something. Very cool.
But there wasn't an old guy there.
Yeah, and a lot of the monuments there, I guess they're called monuments, were Hindu specific. So totally different than any other temple we've seen. But also when you entered, there was a Buddha, right? So at the beginning. And then as you go behind this, secret door or secret passage, then you see all the different statues for the different gods related to the Hindu gods. So,
And I saw one that was like in the Arusha books, but I forget the god's name. It was like a god that had 6 heads,
right.
And maybe it was like 6 or 8 arms. I can't remember.
Right. We'll have to look
But
that
yeah,
up.
it was like blue.
Yes, I remember that one too.
And it had like weapons in each hand.
Yes, yeah.
That one.
So that one, that was super cool.
I think it was Arusha and the City of Gold. That one. Actually, no. Maybe it was a different one. I'm not sure.
We're sounding very educated.
Very educated right now.
What? I read lots of mythology books.
Yes.
A lot of Korean mythology ones too. Those ones are
We just
good.
we just can't recall any names at all.
Yeah.
It's hard. There's a lot of names to recall, for sure. And a lot of these things that we are kind of encountering, it's the first time we're seeing it as well. And so it's a really great introduction, I'd say, to the different myths, to the different cultures, and it's really up to us to kind of do some more research and kind of dive into them a little bit more, right? So I'm in particular really interested now in Buddhism and just what that's all about, especially coming from a family that is Buddhist, but we never really practiced that much.
I wouldn't say a family that is Buddhist. It's like your parents, not your siblings.
Oh yeah, sorry. When I say family, I mean my parents and their siblings and their family and that kind of. So they were all Buddhists, right? So us as siblings, we never really got exposed that much to it. We participated in some of the rituals, but never really understood what we were doing. And so being surrounded by so much in terms of Buddhism and that religion, you know, it's kind of piqued my interest in terms of like what is that and what does that mean?
You should ask your parents about it.
And also, I was like, why does he have super long earlobes? And then Daddy was like, it means something. And I was like, what about his big chin? And I was like, does that mean something too? And Daddy was like, Daddy or Mom was like, no, I think that's just his face.
Correct.
Don't make fun of Buddha.
Yeah.
I know my chin was a little bit like I don't know.
Feels sacrilegious.
What?
No offense to Buddha.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, big chin.
And also,
I thought Buddha had earrings.
Right. It did because it's the earlobe, right?
Yeah, because like he stretched it.
It is stretched down, and I can't remember what it represents. Do you remember? Like
kindness
knowledge or something,
yeah.
But like
prosperity.
it must hurt.
Yeah,
it must hurt. I was like,
What
I
do you
thought
mean
it was
hurt?
earrings, but I was like, I thought it was earrings, and Daddy was like, no, I think he just stretched out
It's
his
just
ear.
stretched. Yeah.
I was like, what?
That does happen in real life. So
Wait, what?
These heavy earrings stretched out his ears. He taught that suffering and pain come from wanting things. To make suffering stop, he worked hard to give up things and wanting things. He gave up riches and took off his fine clothes and earrings. That's why his earlobes are long but empty.
Oh.
Very interesting. Thank you, Google. Yeah, so we did that in Kandy, and so that was really cool just seeing those types of things. And jumped back into not the car this time, but we decided to take the train to New Oralia.
I got so much knitting done.
You got so much knitting done. I really enjoyed the view out of the train, like the window and stuff like that. We got to sit basically together, essentially. And so you get to see the scenery go by, all the green of Sri Lanka.
Was that the one where you didn't sit next to me?
Yeah, so at the beginning, because our seats were split up, I was sitting away from you for half of the trip, and then once people shuffled around, I was sitting beside you for the rest of the trip. But yeah, it was a beautiful train ride. You know, really serene, just seeing all that nature.
Serene makes it sound peaceful. It wasn't peaceful. The view was peaceful, but it was very loud and noisy.
Ka-clunk,
and
ka-clunk,
ka-clunk.
smelly. and
And
the
then-
bathroom was horrible. But yes, the view was very picturesque.
And the person that was sitting next to me,
Yeah.
I was near the window,
Yeah.
and she wanted the window open, so I just let her because I didn't want to say no. And so it's like very loud at some parts.
I couldn't hear your podcast.
Yeah, so I didn't even listen at all. So.
I just paused it when it was super loud, and I just turned up the volume really high and then listened to it.
But it's an interesting train ride because what people do is they open the windows as wide as possible, and you're always sticking your head out to kind of look at the scenery.
But you can't really, because the train is so close to walls or trees or like seriously, you
Yeah.
could lose a limb.
You bring your head back just in time.
Oh my goodness.
And I did it once on the second train.
That's
Don't
right,
tell
on the
me
second
that.
train. And so people would also hang outside the doorways, so that each compartment is connected, and in that connection point is where the bathroom is, and also 2 doorways that you can hang off of and kind of look out. And so what people would do is they would hang off from there, and someone else would come around to the other side and stick their head out the window so they could take a shot of the person hanging outside the train and the train kind of like trailing behind them. It's very Instagrammable. So there was a lot of people doing that. I didn't do that, but Taya did go on it. Taya did. I took a picture of her. That was fun. And other than that, like I found it really relaxing.
It
Just
was
chilling
nice,
out.
Yeah.
Change of pace, definitely from all the
And
driving.
from what I understand, because we took the train, those 2 chunks of the way, we missed a lot of really windy roads.
Yes.
So my stomach is very grateful.
Yeah, because at one point we actually went backwards a little bit just to check out a waterfall, and even that little small
Whoa.
section was extremely windy.
And also that guy who kept on trying, he was like, hello.
So you need to give a bit of context to that.
So
Maybe
this
Daddy
guy-
can explain, or
Okay,
you.
so
I
you want to explain? Okay,
yeah,
go ahead.
Tim's explaining it.
Go ahead.
So there's this guy.
Okay, while we're driving, yeah.
Yeah, while we're driving, who's running onto the road and like
And doing what?
And
So you have to explain that we were driving on switchbacks, right?
Right,
So
switchbacks, yes.
Yes.
And he was going up and down because he was trying to sell us flowers. And then whenever he passed us, trying to get us flowers, he was like, hello, hello.
And then we passed by.
So to make it clear, I'm sorry, in case you didn't quite catch that, we would go on the switchbacks, but he would go straight down the mountain running full speed in flip-flops.
Flip-flops, yeah.
And it was starting to rain, and he was running through trees and whatever between the roads, or same road, but so
just
he was
sell us
amazingly
flowers.
fast, and I was wanting Thomas just to give this poor man some money because he literally ran down a mountain. Thomas was like, "What? I don't want flowers."
I didn't want flowers, but kudos to him for running down a mountain because that was very impressive. But yeah, I didn't need flowers at the time, so.
And you're allergic.
And I'm not really allergic, but I don't like the smell.
But
of flowers.
whenever I put flour under your nose, you're like, ew.
Yeah, I don't like the smell.
You don't want to smell flowers?
I'm a weirdo. I smell the flowers theoretically, but not actually.
That doesn't make any sense.
You know, when you stop and smell the roses, that's what I do, but I don't
They
actually do
smell
it.
the roses.
Yeah, exactly. I smell through my mouth by eating.
And then you get some pollen.
That's right.
And then you get allergic.
Let's move on.
What? Don't you want to talk about flowers and smelling them and stuff like that?
No.
So yeah, so we finished the train ride. Kennedy meets us there at the end of the train ride.
The poor guy. The second time the rain made our
Super
train was
late.
2 hours
Yeah.
late, so he was waiting
For quite some time,
quite
for
some
sure.
time. Yeah.
But yeah, so we arrive in New Aurelia and get a ride with Kennedy basically to the city. And there's a really lovely kind of mini town there. There really isn't that much to the town, aside from some really amazing hikes and waterfalls and also some tea estates and tea factories. But what we did there was, we went and stayed at this place that was actually really close to Lovers.
The smelly place, right?
It was a little bit smelly, yeah.
Oh yeah, the one was it was smelly but really good food.
Yes.
That one.
Yes, smelly but really good food. But the smell really was because it's just so damp at that period of time, and I think that seeps into the walls or the furniture.
That musty, damp
That
smell.
musty smell, so it's unfortunate, but I think a lot of the places around it probably suffer from the same thing because it's just not built to be able to handle that kind of stuff. So in the warmer weathers, I think you don't really notice it, but
better.
because it's kind of the rainy season, it's kind of really...
Except for that furnished place.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
And so we stayed there, which was actually really close to one of the hikes, Lovers Leap Falls. And so it was kind of fun walking up that one.
It was
Thomas got a fan club.
I got a fan club, yeah.
so short.
It was, way shorter than we had, because online we were looking, I was like, oh, it's going to take us 2 hours, blah, blah. But that's if you walk through the tea factory and through the tea field and everything like that. But because we were so close, we actually just went up this road and just headed straight there, and we were already there in
10 minutes.
In 10 minutes, and I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, so that Vancouver couple must have stayed at maybe close to that place, so they only have to. And
Yeah.
she was running. Too,
Exactly. So we, on the way down, we actually met a random bunch of Sri Lankan boys, and so they were just teenagers who were just super interested in one, taking photos of us and with us, and also asking fun questions. So I was talking with them.
and also one of the boys, his friends were laughing at him because he was trying to talk to Daddy in English, but he
Right.
wasn't doing that well.
Right.
And also,
He was doing pretty well.
Yeah.
me and Maya didn't want to show our faces. So we just hid behind Mommy.
Yeah, and then one guy was like, do you want to, can I take a photo of you? And then I was like, no, thank you. And then he was like, why no, thank you? And then Tiaz was like, because. And I was like, not right now. And then he went back to his friends. He was like, they say no, thank you.
They were surprised. That's okay. I took photos with them. It was good. So we ran into those guys, and then we also did a couple other hikes in New Aurelia. We went to Single Tree Hill, which I always say Signal Tree Hill because there is a cell tower up there, and so I got confused.
Leeches.
Oh,
But
there's some
actually-
leeches as well. Yeah.
That was a different walk.
Yeah, that's.
I know, but we discovered leeches in that part.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that actually we missed talking about that. We can sidetrack a little bit for that because in Kenadi we actually went into a rainforest hike, and so that was the first time we ran into leeches, and and so having a leech stuck on your foot and then you being surprised about
on
it.
the back of my ankle. I was so surprised. I screeched.
Yeah, you screeched. They really suction on. It's pretty impressive actually. But you pulled them off, and then sometimes you bleed a little bit, and other times
also,
you're fine.
We learned that there's saliva. Sorry.
I want to tell people. Okay, so in this National Geographic TV show that I watched.
Yeah.
It's called Primal Survivor. If you want to watch it.
It's on Disney Plus.
The leech's spit makes the part that they bite bleed a lot, so then it doesn't scab up while they're drinking blood.
That's right. Makes it a wonderful fountain of blood for us.
Yeah, and then there's a weed that it's called I don't know how, it's like SAIM. It's a weed, and then you squish it up and crunch it up, and then you put it on, and then it helps stop the spit
from affecting you.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And also, what are they called again?
Leeches?
Leeches don't like salty and bitter.
Salty.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Salty
Salty.
definitely.
Probably acidic.
Oh yeah.
That's what you're thinking.
And very liquids.
Right?
So
You could use that.
yeah, you could use that.
Yeah. So yeah, that was our leech adventure, and so for the rest of the time that we're hiking, anytime any girl felt anything on their legs, is it a leech? Is it a leech?
Yeah, and I kept on kicking around and going. Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
That was an adventure.
That was that's right. That was an adventure for sure. So we also did a tea factory.
No, before the other waterfall that the girls complained about.
Yeah, so that was part of the tea factory. So we went to see the tea factory, and then afterwards we were like, hey.
that was a different day, wasn't it?
No, it was the same day.
What?
Guys.
No.
I know.
How do you know?
Because I know. So we went to see the tea factory, and we did the tour. And then afterwards, I looked on a map and said, hey, look, there's a waterfall that's really close. Let's go check it out.
So therefore, it's not a part of the tea factory.
No,
Is
it's
it?
part of the same day of the tea. That's what I meant.
That's not what you said.
That's the one where it's like I didn't expect it. And
Yeah, and you're all grumps.
yeah. I was also super hungry though.
Yeah, grumps and hungry.
And also, I always turn
Don't yell into the phone.
when we go downhill for hikes or stuff. I'm called the mountain goat.
Why is that?
Yay. Because I go really fast in ahead of the group.
Right.
I go really fast up and Tia goes really fast down.
Mhm. Yeah, actually, your
There were
hiking's quite good.
signs everywhere saying "Don't swim," and then I regretted not taking our swimming stuff because we got there, everyone was swimming. I'm like, oh my goodness.
It was a nice swimming hole.
It was really
All
nice.
the locals would go there and have a nice swim and stuff like that. So
You had to pay to get in, but of course Kenadi knocked the price down for us,
yes, exactly.
or got it knocked down rather.
Yeah, but beautiful waterfall. I really enjoyed it.
That was my favorite one.
Yeah, definitely. And so
If only we had brought our swimming suits.
if only.
If
So we also did the tea factory tour. What did you guys think about that?
Tea factory, the first one.
Yeah, in New Aurelia.
Mm.
That was the one where we actually got to see the different
Inside the
machines.
factory, but we didn't get to see them working because it was during Diwali.
Yeah. So they were
Both
on
of the
all day.
factories.
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping to see them work,
Mm.
but
But what did you think about the tea factory in general?
yeah,
The
I
process
didn't.
and
I
stuff like that?
didn't know that they dry 50% and then they do the crushing. And,
Yeah, and the rolling.
And then the last part is dry the other 50%. We
Yeah.
will put a link
In the description.
in the description.
I think Taya described it quite
That was
well.
pretty good.
No, link to if people
more
wanna,
information?
yeah, look at the process.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. We got to see the whole process of how they do it, and they explained what the machinery did. I really found one of the machineries quite interesting, where they use magnets to kind of separate out the tea and the actual
Yeah, that was
twigs
cool.
that are part of it. That was super cool, and so that was really interesting to see. The tasting was really nice, trying the different teas as well, and yeah, I thought that was really well done. And that one itself was actually a free tour, which was
What,
awesome.
really?
Yeah, that one was a free tour. You at the end of it, they would give you a sampling of the tea, and then you would probably pay for like a dessert or something like that.
We paid for the dry cake.
Yeah, paid for the dried cake.
But it wasn't that
It wasn't
bad if
that
you
bad.
eat it with cake.
Exactly.
I mean,
Eat the cake with the cake?
I mean, eat it with tea.
Yeah, have it with the tea. So that was, I thought it was a fun experience, and we bought some tea as well because it was quite good. But we also got to see like the different grades of tea. So the lighter, white teas versus kind of like the darker ones, and the different grades of those ones as well.
I like the first one with testing teas.
Yeah.
Because you could add sugar. And the second one, we had to try the most bitter one without sugar.
And you were like, ah.
Yeah. And also,
It was
I
bad. It
didn't
was really
know
bad.
that Mommy always got the
Super
highest
dark
bitter.
teas. Of the
I was
world.
like, when we tasted the lightest one, I was like, it tastes like water.
water.
It tastes like water.
Yeah, That's true. It did taste like water to me as well. And so we did that, and we also went to a lot of Indian restaurants in New Orleans.
Chai tea.
And had chai tea like so many times.
And dosas.
Chai tea is the best.
We were actually sad that it was closed the one day. We're like, no, foil.
Yeah, and then we had to go to a random place that was not good.
Yeah, exactly. So that was a sad day. So the next day, of course, we had to go get the chai tea. But yeah, so we did that, and then we headed out next, back on the train for another segment, and then went to Ella, basically, right?
Ella.
So Ella was Ella was a really fun area, really fun adventure, because you really get just like this one strip of like very touristy kind of restaurants and shops and that kind of thing, and you're also connected to a lot of nature as well, so tons of like interesting hikes around that you can go to. And so we did a bunch of hiking here as well. Like we went to see Little Adams Peak, so we did that hike for one of the days, so that was kind of fun. It wasn't too bad of a hike. Like you hike actually through the backside of one of the resorts there, so you get to see like the zip lines that they've set up and this fancy restaurants.
And the resort was like super fancy.
Super fancy. There was a giant pool and everything.
And the music was so loud.
And so you hike up to the top and you get a beautiful view.
And there was leeches.
And there was
Again.
Did you get leeched? Who got leeched?
I got leeched. That was the first time that I got leeched.
Yeah.
First time and only time.
I don't think leech is a verb.
Getting leeched.
Getting leeched.
Getting leeched. And it stung afterwards because it was bleeding.
Right.
And
right.
it got my sock dirty.
Also, on one of the hikes, we made a club called the people who got leeched.
Or the Leech Club.
The Leech Club, yeah. So we're part of the Leech Club.
Mommy's not a part of the Leech
Yeah,
Club.
Dawn didn't get
I got one on my shoe, so I'm an honorary member.
Yeah, you're honorary.
Yeah.
I picked it off before it got any further.
Oh, my knight in shining armor.
Exactly.
For leeches.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We also went and did another hike, Ella Rock. Does anybody remember that one?
That was a good one.
That was a pretty good one. Like it was
Was
through.
A
Do you remember?
train.
That was
Yes,
the long
that's right.
one. And also there was a dog that followed us.
Yeah, that was super cool actually.
But then it realized we didn't have any food, so then it didn't follow us, and then it followed us again for a little bit, and then it stopped following.
That's right.
And then it follows
So
at
notice
the end.
our children say nothing about the actual hike, but can tell you if they had a
It was
cupcake
so
and if
cute.
there was
It
a
was
dog
so
nearby.
fun.
Exactly.
Hey, I remember the hike very clearly.
Okay,
It was
tell me about the hike.
So we went up the train tracks
Yeah.
for like 45 minutes. That's
Oh,
what
wow.
Mommy said.
Okay, yeah.
That was a long
It was
train
just
track.
walking on wood planks.
Yeah. Along the way. And if a train came, what do you have to do?
Go to the side.
Yeah, and watch the train pass by and then you keep on going.
And there are people sticking out their heads.
Yeah. And you go,
And then you go up the small path.
Yeah.
And then up the hill. for the
Through
rest.
really tall grass.
Yeah.
Don't forget about that part. So
Then-
super tall grasses.
Yeah.
Like a maze.
Yeah, like a maze, and then through a tea field, and then after that
And
you
then
go up the hill, and once you get to the top, you actually have to pay to get to the actual viewpoint,
And then we did.
and then we did, and so you get two viewpoints, one directly in front of you, and then the other one you hike like maybe another 5 minutes, and then you get to the second one. Amazing view.
The second one got foggy though before we got there.
Yeah, because Tay had to poop. But
Potty humor, guys. Potty humor.
Hey!
That's, you should have a potty humor warning.
I had to go bathroom. I had to go bathroom. Don't say the.
Don't say the
back.
poop word.
Yeah.
You just said it.
Or number 2.
Number 2. You had to go number 2.
Yeah, I had
But the view was very cool because you actually saw Little Adams Peak and also just all the different mountains around as well, and the city and everything, a waterfall.
And me and Mommy had passion fruit lime juice. That was really good.
Yeah, when
But
we
also
walked back
really
down.
sour.
Me and Daddy Kenadi had just basic lemonade.
Lemonade.
It was a bit sour.
Yeah, could have had more sugar. For sure.
Oh yeah, and when I saw him washing it, I was like, he doesn't put any soap. But then but that was just him rinsing it after he put on soap, because the second one that he washed, he put soap on. So I was like, oh, okay.
Excellent.
And
Glad you're checking.
And also, it was funny because he was like, we got bottled water for your sensitive stomachs.
Yeah, that's right. He knew exactly what to tell tourists. But there's basically, as you're hiking up these things, there's actually little stalls along the way of people selling juices and snacks and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
There's stalls, and it looked like they're competing.
Yeah.
There's more than 2.
There's more than 2 as you walk along, for sure. Yeah, so we did. Ella Rock was actually quite a beautiful hike, so that was really fun to do. And then the other thing that we did in Ella that was really fun was a tea picking tour. Do you guys remember that?
Yes,
And I got a bindi. I got a. Oh my goodness. Taya. You're like Harold and Captain Underpants. Yeah, because one of the guys is like, we're cool, and then the other one is like, me too.
Oh my goodness.
I was.
Taya almost fell over as well. Awesome.
So I got a bindi, and then before it fell off, a couple days before it fell off, everybody was like, "Nice face."
They were just surprised you had a bindi.
Enough.
Yeah.
Someone's getting giddy. Gotta wrap this up.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we did this tea factory, or sorry, not tea factory. We did the kind of tea picking tour, which is super fun because they tell you a lot about just the conditions of the tea picking.
And they get paid less.
They don't get paid very much at all. I
Bless
mean,
you.
it's, what was it, 1,000 rupees
Which
per
is
day. And
About 5.
But you have to. But they had to get 20 kilos a day, or then they wouldn't get paid.
that's right,
20
exactly.
kilos of leaves.
Which is a lot of leaves because
But they go.
they're so light. They're very quick at picking because we got, as part of the picking session, they showed you which leaves to pick, how to pick them, that kind of stuff.
It was
7 to 9, 8 kilos, and then
9:30 to 12.
9:30 to 12.
Yeah.
8 kilos, and then they have 1 hour lunch break, and then was it 1 to 4? They pick 4 kilos because
It's hotter.
It's super hot.
And
Yeah.
the way to pick tea leaves is you always pick the light green leaves, not the dark
Yeah.
green.
So
dark.
light green
I
leaves
have-
and the top kind of like 4 to 6 leaves
I
basically.
have
right?
another
Yeah.
fun fact.
Oh yeah.
Did you know the white tea is only the tiny little bud at the top, and you don't have to go through all the process and fermentation. You only roll it up and then sun dry it, and then
That's
you have
right.
white tea.
Exactly. So really cool fact because you'd think that they're 2 different plants, but they're actually from the same plant or same bush, I guess.
But green tea is a different one, right?
Yes. Yeah. So very neat. And so we got to see that. We got to kind of interact with one of the tea pickers, and it's predominantly women.
All
Ex-
except
all
for
women.
when it's the season
super
where they,
rainy.
no, when it's super busy, they need a few men. But it's interesting not to be all. Sorry, I'm censoring
Stereotypical?
myself here. No, what I mean is it's in a way like before we're talking about empowerment of women with the cooking. I feel like this is a way to keep women in their place. Like it's only for women. They're paid very poorly, and it's not something they can very easily get out of.
Yeah.
And with the cost of living being so high the last couple of years, I feel like if men were a part of the job, I think there would be more reason for them to make sure that the wages go up, but it is not that way. So
And also, the man said, if you have a tip, give it to the woman.
yes, yeah, that's right.
Awkward pause.
Dot.
Anything else that you guys learned from the tea picking?
We met Kim and Chris again. Kim and Chris.
The Canadians
Yeah, the Canadians.
that are from Richmond.
Yeah, and they recommended the roti place, which is super good.
Roti Hut, right?
Roti Hut.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of places called Roti Hut.
True, yeah.
And also I saw one say hot roti shop.
And also connected to the Roti Hut is Sari market, and they have a whole bunch of snacks there, and also a mini restaurant at the
back. Yeah, so we ran into these Canadians from Richmond. Actually, our first meeting was at a tea factory in New Aurelia. And so that's where we met them and chatted with them a little bit. And then we ran into them in a restaurant in Ella. And so we chatted up the rest of the night with Kim, who was born and raised in Richmond. And so that was kind of neat to kind of just like chat with her and her
She was
husband
very
and stuff like
chatty.
that.
Her husband didn't chat with us. Only a little bit.
Only a little bit.
And then he got
Poor guy was hungry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
hungry.
he was
hungry.
ordering
He was
food.
ordering food. He was, he needed some food. But yeah, so that was kind of fun. And then after that, I think the only other thing we did in Ella was do that cooking class, right?
Oh, that was fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was fun. Bruno the doggy.
What?
I said Bruno the doggy.
The dog was named Bruno.
Yeah,
Oh,
the Dalmatian.
Apparently, both children are getting super giddy right now.
No, I wasn't getting.
Bruno the doggy.
Yeah, so we did a cooking class in Ella and learned to cook, was it 3 or 4 different types of curries?
The mango chutney was so good, but it was really spicy.
It was very spicy. Yeah.
The mushrooms were my favorite.
Yeah, we got to grind up a coconut to make coconut like fresh coconut shreds and like
A fresh coconut milk.
make fresh coconut milk from it. So that was kind of fun. And she had like this actual machine that you had to like
We can't
crank
find it
on
in
this like
Canada.
handle.
It's kind of
Yeah.
like an apple peeler.
Yeah, it's like a giant apple peeler.
And or the way I describe it is like like the top of the lemon squeezer.
Yeah.
It's like that, but like way sharper.
Way sharp.
And then you go like you're squeezing a lemon, but with a coconut, and it's harder.
Yeah, so that was super fun. And we actually found it randomly because Don was looking for these
Reviews for
places to stay, and one of them mentioned that they did a cooking class there. So
And
we
we-
looked up this place.
And we actually went into their kitchen
Yes.
because it was cold outside, but it wasn't cold. So we went into their kitchen.
Yeah, went into
That
their
was
kitchen
fun.
and got to cook in their actual kitchen. It was super fun. And the dog would visit us and everything like that. And the
And then
husband
you
would
go
come and
out
check in and on.
And then the dog would go, come back in. Go
Yeah,
out,
exactly.
Come back in.
So a really fun experience, and she was very detailed in terms of explaining the process and what we need to do to cook it. So I really enjoyed that. It was really fun.
Yeah, she was very professional, very lovely,
Yeah,
very kind.
Yeah.
And
and I was extremely full at the end. It was
Yeah.
super delicious.
And she also gave us Fanta.
And she gave us Fanta. Of course.
see, I told you, if they had a cupcake or if they had juice.
They always remember. That's right. But yeah, so that was Ella, and such a fun experience going there. And the next thing that we ended up doing was driving down to Marissa. And along the way, we actually stopped at a waterfall, which was, I can't remember what the name of it is, but it's the
wasn't that
second.
Ravana waterfall?
No, that was a different one. So
Oh,
this
really?
one was the giant one, and it was actually the second largest in Sri Lanka. I think the name started with a D, but I can't remember exactly what it was. But that's right. And so we
Making
drove.
weird noises.
It seemed like forever to even find this place, and when we did find it, it was raining profusely. So of course I'm like, okay, well, let's just go out and just see this thing. So we go out. It's a beautiful waterfall. It's raining like crazy.
There's a guy trying to convince us to like hike up it, and we're like, nah, it looks a little slippery.
Yeah, we'll pass.
And then we keep driving, and 2 minutes later the rain stops.
Yeah, exactly. But the cool thing about this waterfall is if you get a chance to go check it out, you can actually go and hike up to the top, There's actually two ways. One way is the more complicated one, and the other way is like you go up this other path, and you can walk up, and it's only like a 20-minute walk or something. But there's some infinity pools at the top, and so you can actually swim at the top. It's beautiful. You can look over the edge. It's supposed to be amazing. So if we're ever in Sri Lanka again, I would love to kind of check that out again because I want to swim there. But that was super fun. And then we continued on to Marissa.
I like how you're like, that was super fun, this thing that we didn't
That
do.
we never did. No, the fun part was seeing the waterfall. That was super fun. And running through the rain. That
And
was good.
also, we when we were going into Marissa, was that the one that went? No, that was a different one. Sorry.
So we drove to Marissa, and the first place that we stopped in Marissa was our new Airbnb, which is the stinkiest Airbnb we've ever been in, unfortunately. The problem was that they actually had varnished or like added a coat of varnish onto like so their furniture and their window sills and that kind of stuff.
Windowsills, you use that term loosely because there was no glass in them. They were just like slats, so you couldn't even see out of it, and so therefore no air was coming in to this like highly varnished. And so when Thomas messaged them, they came over right away, which is lovely. But then they came over and they're like, "Oh, we don't smell anything," and we're like, "Well, we have headaches, and you could definitely smell it." And they picked up this lavender satchel. They're like, "Is it this?" And it's like, no, it's definitely not that.
Yeah.
Like, but they're very kind in letting us change our reservation.
Dates and so we didn't have to do like an immediate cancellation and kind of leave, right? So we spent the night, and we actually did a D&D session like literally the next morning because their internet was great.
So strong.
The internet was so strong there. So aside from the smell, like I think we would have stayed there, but because it was so
we went
pungent.
outside to do the
The D&D session, and it worked out really well. And so we had like a good 2-hour, 3-hour D&D session with
No, 3.5 because she did it longer because the girls
3.5.
complained.
Yeah.
with my sister.
Yeah.
And so that was super fun.
We didn't come this way. We're like, no, it ended. And then she didn't want to, and we're like, yay!
Yeah, so we did a D&D session and moved to our new place, which was much better. And our driver really liked it because he got to stay in the fancy place as well.
I think that's why he liked it. I'm not
exactly. And so we were there, and Marissa really is just like a really fun kind of beach town. And so a lot of beach access.
Is that where we did the
Snorkeling.
Boogie boarding, obviously. She thinks that's cooler.
And we also did the boogie boarding.
Yeah.
And we swam with turtles.
Swam with some turtles, so that was super cool.
Daddy liked that better.
Yeah, that was my favorite part of the area.
Boogie boarding.
And you guys love the boogie boarding.
Yeah.
Mainly because you guys didn't have to drag the boogie board all the way out to the
Hey,
wave started.
At the last bit we did.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, remember?
Okay, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And then we swam.
I remember getting whiplash from the waves trying to haul a boogie board and a child out.
Well, also the last one, there was this huge wave.
Huge.
And they went all the way across and to the shore.
Yeah, exactly.
To the sand.
And Maya's last one, she got whipped around and got hung upside down.
Yeah, and then I got water up my nose and in my mouth.
Yeah.
That was nice.
It's a great way to end it.
Good experience.
But mine was a good way to end it.
Yeah, there you go. So that boogie boarding, lots of really good restaurants. We went to a bunch of good restaurants along the way there, and beautiful scenery. Like there's of course the famous Coconut Hill, which you see like a giant lineup of people going up to this hill that has like a whole bunch of coconut trees, and they're like doing their poses, and like posing, taking pictures, that kind of stuff. We kind of just like went to the side and took some pictures, and then we went down. We weren't that invested in it, and mainly just spent time on the beach over there.
We found like this random beach that was, I wouldn't call it a secret one because I know there's one actually called
That's
Secret
actually-
Beach.
yeah.
but no one seemed to know about it, and I shouldn't say no one, but it was very unpopulated.
Yeah, so we just relaxed.
It was
there.
in the bay and quite lovely.
But I kept on whacking my feet and I got a whole bunch of scrapes because there was a lot of rocks.
That is true.
And I accidentally went over like a row of rocks and my knees kept on hitting all of them. I was like, ow, 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 ow.
Dangers of beach. Danger at beaches, yeah. That is true. But I was really impressed with the guy that took us on this snorkeling adventure. Very passionate about just conservation and just protecting the turtles and that kind of thing.
One thing, Sri Lanka is definitely known for its surfing, but any snorkeling that we did was a little disappointing, I'm not gonna lie. It was just, you got to see a lot of brown and not a lot of fish.
Except for the one that
But where we went, he and a group of people planted a whole bunch of coral about 5 or 6 years ago, and it's really starting to grow and stuff, and so we got to see a lot more color and more fish, and so he's very passionate about saving the ocean.
Yeah, so really cool. And always, like, he would warn other people, like, as we were going. I was like, oh, don't touch the coral, be careful how you're stepping. So, picking up trash, that kind of stuff, so, yeah.
And the puppies.
He had some puppies as well, so Maya and Taya were going crazy.
So cute. But they were going under this, like, wooden crate.
Crate? Yeah, they're just chilling out.
They're sleeping.
So the next city that we went to after Marissa was
Unawatuna.
Unawatuna. Unawatuna. And so that one was also kind of like a beach town. One of the things we did that was different for that one was that we actually went out of the town and past Gull a little bit to go to a wood carving kind of community. And we got to learn about wood carving, the process, what kind of wood he uses, and just like how it's connected to his village. Tell me about this death potato.
So there's this beautiful flower, and it grows a potato, and when people eat it, they die.
Yeah, it's very dangerous.
But you have to,
especially old people, when they eat it, they just.
Yeah.
But don't you have to boil it?
Yeah, they boil it and then they eat it and then.
Yeah, that was a very random story. I don't know, not sure what that was about, but
Death potato.
The death potato.
It was on the village tour that we got.
So you
get on afterwards.
Yeah, you get to see kind of the woodworking process, and then he takes you on a village tour to meet some of the locals that are also part of that woodworking community.
And it definitely is a community. It's handed down generation to generation. And
yes.
It's the younger generation are moving out to find other work, and so
it's a small group of people.
He's
now.
the elephant guy.
It's really dwindled, so it makes it more difficult to keep it going.
Yeah, no, exactly.
He's the elephant guy.
Yeah, he focused specifically on elephants.
Medium-sized
to small elephants, like little keychain size to up to like hand size, I guess. And so, yeah, just watching him.
Sized for kids.
Watching him work is really cool. Like, he's just so fast. And then he got us to try to use the tools. It was so hard.
I thought I was gonna chop on my finger, so that's why I stopped after like 10 seconds.
Yeah, it's definitely way harder than it looks. Like, he was just doing it. I was like, oh wow, okay, yeah, he's basically sanding it, right? No, he's very professionally
sanding it,
carving this thing.
And they made the tool.
Yeah, actually, the tool they was using, they actually created it as part of something that they needed, basically.
And also, he went through this long spiel, if that's what it's called.
Spiel. Yeah.
About how the world is gonna die.
Yes, I think he was very disgruntled about just society in general.
Wait, how is it gonna die?
I feel like
through selfishness and people thinking only about themselves and not their communities and that kind of thing. So,
which, based on what he's described with how
his village has declined,
you can understand
why it tracks. It definitely tracks in terms of what he's seeing, right? So, because the community itself was extremely tight-knit previously. And they would actually help each other out. Everyone knew each other. And I guess as, people have moved away or changed, you just see less and less of people, and they're not as connected anymore. And I think, it's sad, that he's losing his community, right?
There was 800%, and then it went down to 40%. That's what he said.
40% of what?
For people.
Oh, and I think also the fewer people going to temple and being connected religiously as well.
Yeah, exactly. So that was a really cool experience, being able to be there. And
the girls we all got to paint our own elephants.
Yeah. So that was really fun as well.
And the kitty.
And there was a little kitten.
There was a little kitty that went on my lap, and also it played around with the ball. It was so cute. And it went on my leg while I was sitting down or crouching on the floor.
Daddy posted
to
on
paint
Instagram.
better, to get the better angle, and it was clinging to my leg.
Yeah.
If you want,
It was so cute. But Daddy didn't take a picture.
if you want to see a video of the tiny cat on Instagram, it's on the Dad Night Returns. Instagram.
That's right. Go check out the gram. Oh my god. But yeah, so we did that, which was super fun. And then we also went and checked out one of the beaches there. Went to Jungle Beach, which wasn't the greatest experience. I mean, the trek down there was just a medium kind of hike. It wasn't even that good of a hike.
No, it was about a half an hour.
Just like over rocks and that kind of thing.
It was super slippery.
Very slippery. We get there, our scuba gear, or not scuba gear, I always say scuba, snorkeling gear that we rented, some of it was malfunctioning, wasn't really fitting properly.
Mine was perfect, but then I got a headache.
Yeah, then you got a headache.
And then we'll tell you the story about the jellyfish.
Well,
I will tell the story.
the only...
Taya, I was the one who experienced it.
So the only snorkeling. The only snorkeling areas around there is just along this one kind of rocky shore.
Brown.
And so a lot of the coral, unfortunately, there was all dead. And we, went out quite a distance and saw some fish, and, Maya was with me, and what happened?
So Taya and Mommy went back because both of them had a headache.
Yeah.
And me and Daddy went forward, and then I was like, ow! And then I was like, ew, ew, because I touched something really slimy. And I thought.
And what did your dad say? I didn't see anything.
Yeah.
Kind of like when I was like, "There's mice in our apartment." He's like, "No, there isn't."
And then I got little pokey, like stingy kind of feeling. And then I slapped some more stuff, and I was like, ew, 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 I want to get out of here.
And I thought she said
Save that
kill
for
me. I thought she said fish kill me.
I said I want to get out of here. And then Daddy got stung too. And then he started to pull me out. And then I was like, Daddy, you scared me. What's going on? And then he was like, it's jellyfish. And I was like, ah!
Yeah, so we had to deal with that. But I just swam calmly away from the jellyfish, and we were fine. They were just little ones, so it wasn't like too bad. But we got out of that
it was
situation.
Like sting, poke.
Yeah, so we saw a couple fishes, and that's about it. A couple of fish, tropical fish here and there, and yeah, kind of chilled on the beach for a little bit, and finished up and headed out of there. Not the greatest experience, but it was an experience. And then we immediately got king coconuts as soon as we could, because we were like, we're done. We need some king coconuts.
And also we saw some bunnies in cages that had red eyes.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was sad.
Well, they were probably selling them to eat.
No, it's a pet store.
Yeah. on the side
I know,
of the road.
I'm kidding.
Pet store on the side of the road.
Even the chickens?
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
It says
Chickens
pets.
are considered pets.
Nah.
And cats are worshipped.
Pets.
Pet store. Yeah.
But maybe they get it from the pet store and then kill them.
Well,
It's possible. So we did that. So we ended that part of the trip by heading over to Gull, where we said goodbye to Kenadi, took some hilarious photos with him, and then met up with Zari and Lal for a little adventure in, I mentioned, Gull.
oh my god!
Right? We'll save that for next time.